I think a large percentage of physical issues, the root is going to be emotional problems. And it's amazing. This thing can go back and emotional trauma that's in the subconscious as a kid, and I'm working with the adult, we can go back and help resolve those emotional problems.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Wendy Myers. Welcome to the Myers Detox Podcast. On this show, we talk about everything related to heavy metal and chemical detox, health issues that are caused by these toxins. We talk about bioenergetics and anti-aging and so much more. And today I have my brother on the show, Todd Measles, and we're going to talk to you about, how we got reunited and our whole story. It's really, really interesting. When I met him, he was cotton farming in North Texas, and we're going to get into kind of how he got interested in bioenergetics using NES Health software that I'm a huge fan of, and using Spooky2 Rife. We're going to discuss what those are and how they can help you, and also how Spooky2 Rife detects parasites, even ones that you can't test for on conventional medical tests, on functional medical tests. There's thousands of parasites, but when you do a parasite panel, you only are testing a handful. And so how do you address parasites in your body when you can't even test for them? And so that's a big issue. I mean, because everybody has parasites. They need to be addressed, and just taking wormwood or doing a parasite cleanse is just, frankly, makes me gag. I've only been able to tolerate doing it, a handful of times, and I thought, I think I'll just take the parasites. But I have an amazing tool that I found called the Spooky2 Rife that is unbelievable at detecting and killing parasites, and only the parasites. Doesn't touch anything else in your body. It's really, really amazing. So stay tuned for a fantastic show. And my brother like I said, Todd Measles. He used to be a cotton farmer. Now he is a NES Health practitioner and Spooky2 Rife expert. And he takes clients remotely and in person in St. Petersburg, Texas, which is near Lubbock, Texas. It's in North Texas. And he is available for consults. You can contact him at todd.measles@myersdetox.com. Todd, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Yes.
It's really great to see you, Wendy, my sister by blood.
Yes. Yeah. And so I wanted to introduce you to my audience. And I've told your story before. We had a really interesting way of coming into each other's lives. We'll get to that in a second. But I also wanted to talk about your kind of getting into healing and helping clients. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll talk about our story, how we met too.
Okay. Well, I was adopted to a family in West Texas, grew up ranching and farming. I was a soldier for a while, went to college, got a degree. I spent about 20 years in IT. And then I came back home, and I've done a lot of things since then, but pretty much the most rewarding thing that I've done has been in the last over 4 years now. And that's with the bioenergetics, just helping people. It's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And you started with NES Health, bioenergetics, which is a software program.
Right. I did.
Yeah.
And has definitely helped people. I can give you a short story.
Yes.
I had a 5-year-old kid come in. His mother brought him in. I couldn't even do a scan because he was so wild, and his mother couldn't make him sit still, and he would beat on her like this. And then the last time I saw him, he backed off and spit on her. And so now I'm thinking spiritual deliverance, right? We did 2 bottles of ESR over 2 months. So now that kid, now he can go to school. Now he's in the children's church choir, and that's all we did. I didn't even do a scan.
Yeah, and the ESR is an pharmaceutical. It's a liquid remedy called
emotional stress.
Yeah, emotional stress release. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That's a lot of us need.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought it was really interesting that where you live in North Texas, there's a population of Mennonites there that were your kind of main clientele doing NES Health. Can you talk about that and why they're so interested in NES?
They're really into natural health. I mean, these people are amazing. They are very, very good at money. They're very good at farming. They're very good at construction. And they really believe in the natural way of health. And so there's a niche there where we've been able to go down there and do the energy work and have helped quite a few people down there.
Yeah, do you have any stories? And, because I know like the Mennonites, they're not into conventional medicine or medications or anything like that. They just want to do everything natural. I thought it was really interesting that all of your clients were Mennonites, I mean, for years.
Yeah. I mean, they'll get 2 or 3 women together and they'll process 100 chickens in a day, all natural that they fed out. They'll do the same thing with beef. It's really amazing. They are into natural herbs, essential oils. They will seek traditional health care if they need it, but that is not their first choice.
Yeah. Any stories, any stories of healing and recovery, any testimonies?
A lot of emotional healing has happened with NES Health and the infoceuticals that we can use. You can watch over a few months as they do the drops and just people coming out of their shell. That's pretty amazing. And getting to a point where they want to, if they were in a really low place, they get to a point to where they want to improve themselves and improve their lives and start making healthy decisions for themselves.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of NES, that I feel like NES Health it's a bioenergetic software. You do a scan, do remedies that are chosen by the software and the practitioner. And it's really amazing with myself as well, where people really step into their life purpose. They really release a lot of emotional trauma, and it just works in really amazing ways. The NES Health, very subtle. It's a little too subtle for some people, people that are like, I want lightning to strike me right away at this.
It's not a one and done, because most of the people that we see, there's been issues going on for years. Like you and I have talked about, it's like an onion, layer by layer, that they need to work through, whether it be physical or emotional issues. It works.
Yeah, there's a big emotional root cause of physical issues. I mean,
right. And that's what we're trying to do. I think a large percentage of physical issues, the root is going to be emotional problems. And it's amazing. This thing can go back, and emotional trauma that's in the subconscious as a kid, and I'm working with the adult, we can go back and help resolve those emotional problems.
So for anyone listening that really wants to detox their body, go to heavymetalsquiz.com. I created a quiz for you. It only takes a couple of seconds. Based on some lifestyle questions, you can get your toxicity score and get a free video series that answers all of your frequently asked questions about how to detox your body. Check it out, heavymetalsquiz.com. Yeah, I had a really interesting story. I was speaking with someone at an event for Discovering Hope. We were just all sitting around talking. I'm like, hey, let's do a NET scan on you. And everyone was into it. So we did a scan on this one speaker, and I said, well, the emotional trauma coming up for you is biting. So being bitten or whatnot. And he just was like, what? He said, when I was 27, I was attacked by a pit bull, and me and my dog were attacked, and I had to kill it with my bare hands because it was going to kill me. Obviously, it's still traumatizing, and still that frequency was picked up by the NES Health software.
Right. And then what we can do with that, and some people are ready and some people aren't, we can actually help them to bring that subconscious emotional trauma to the active mind so that they can think about it. Most of the time, it's going to be like, hey, There's nothing we can do about yesterday. All we can do is what's going on today and in the future. Then they can hopefully let it go and put it away. And it is not necessarily smooth sailing from there on out, but it's something that doesn't haunt them anymore. And we can help do that.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that are looking for physical healing, like they have a physical health issue. Maybe it's diabetes, or maybe it's just their foot hurts all the time, or whatever's going on with them. They have gut issues and they think there's a physical remedy because obviously it's a physical problem. And usually addressing emotional trauma is like the last thing people are thinking of, or they want to do something with that, but they don't really understand that it's a frequency-based modality that's going to successfully address and release emotional traumas.
Yes, that's right. Pretty amazing.
So anyone that wants to try NES or work with Todd, you can go on MyersDetox.com and look at programs. It'll be NES Health, NES Health, and you can choose him as your practitioner if you want. It's a program I've been doing for, I guess, almost 9 years now, 8, 9 years. And I still do it. I still find that I respond to the program. There's a device called a My Health that you can get that sends frequencies to your body. It's really just an amazing program. They're always improving it and optimizing the software. It's amazing. You've also forayed into Spooky2 Rife. So Rife is 100-year-old technology. Again, it's like a frequency-based technology. So tell us what your experience was with that.
That has really been a turnaround for our practice. We have a small office in little old Petersburg, Texas, about 25 miles northeast of Lubbock. My wife is a massage therapist in one room, and then we do the Rife therapy in another room. And we've seen some pretty drastic, very good changes with some clients. What we can do with the Spooky, and we can do a scan. It gives us the top 10 or top 20 frequencies that your body is saying, this is what I need. Even though you may not have symptoms, the body is saying, this is what I need first. And so then we can apply those frequencies in several different methods. And we can work on specific areas of the body, or we can just work on the body as a whole. And we've seen some pretty amazing results. I have a client, diabetes with neuropathy, high blood pressure, and this is all we've done. This is the only therapy that she's doing. In about 10 sessions, her A1C has gone from a 7.3 to a 6.7. So we're almost halfway there, right? You need to be 5.4 to be diabetes free. Her blood pressure has started normalizing. Her neuropathy in her feet are almost gone. I've also started incorporating reflexology. And so she was amazed the other day when she walked out. She's losing weight and she's just amazed. And this is all verified by blood work.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I find that there really hasn't been any issue that I've ever had or treated in my friends and family. It just took a couple of sessions to address it successfully. Not everything gets fixed with it, but most of the stuff does. And that's why I've really talked a lot about Spooky2 Rife and the 65,000 programs that it has and the promise that it holds to really address so many issues. And for me, it's my little security blanket. I feel like I don't have to worry about anything. I'm not worried about anything at all.
And what's really interesting is the really great unintended consequences. A client came last year for prostate issues. He did 6 sessions. He was doing other therapies, and then he went and had a biopsy. It was clear. But here's another thing we're finding is that parasites, right? If there's a dominant parasite in the body and we're able to deal with that, there could be dormant parasites in the body that can now thrive. And that's what happened with him. And he's not the only one that we've noticed. So he came back for a very bad nasal infection. So now we're dealing with that, but and I'm not doing any kind of therapy to help this. This is just an unintended consequence, is that when he started in January, his hair was totally gray. And now he's got brown patches. It's turning his hair back brown the way it used to be.
I'm sure that's going to get a lot of people's attention, but I've seen newsletters from Spooky about how to reverse gray hair too.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I can't explain it all. It's just amazing what's happening. And these are actual people. This is people, because I always tell them, okay, I need to hear from you. Okay. I need to hear what changes you're experiencing, good or bad. Most of the bad is going to be some kind of detox experience, where you might go to the bathroom a little more often for the first day or two after a session. Every one of them is reporting feeling better.
What about the client that had rheumatoid arthritis?
We're still working with her. Right now, life pretty much is catching up with her. She can't rest the way she really needs to. And she's one that's really sensitive. I mean, when like a cold front blows in, she really feels it, the weather. She's one of those sensitive ones that we really kind of have to work with. And so it has been a slow process, but she's still coming. We dealt with her lupus first. When she came in for her first session, she was walking with a walker. And now she can get around her house without a walker, without a cane. Her pain issues are getting better. Just a matter of whether we can get her to say no to some things like taking care of grandkids and whatever, and to let her body rest and heal. And that's all we're doing. The only way the body heals is by itself. All we're doing is assisting. We have to have a certain amount of energy to get through our daily life, right? But to heal, you need that little extra energy, and we can help with that.
Yeah, I think, when it comes to kind of any modality you're doing, energy is the name of the game. And what I love about Spooky is there's mitochondria boosting programs, there's sleep programs, there's detox programs, liver detox. In fact, there's like an 11-day, it's called a terrain protocol that essentially detoxes every detox system in the body. That's incredibly powerful, that they recommend people do, just to kind of clean out the body, get the detox pathways open, and then they respond better to the Spooky Rife. I want to give thanks to one of our sponsors, Caramel Collagen by Everbella. So collagen, as you know, is a very vital building block for our skin, our hair, our nails, our joints, and our bones. But starting in our 30s, our collagen levels start plummeting. They start going on the decline. And, we need collagen to prevent sagging and to give us that plump, youthful look, that glow. And what you may not know is that most collagen supplements, they're full of toxins and fillers like glyphosate, like arsenic and other heavy metals that actually disrupt your body's ability to regenerate collagen altogether. And that's why I love Caramel Collagen by Everbella. Not only is it rigorously tested to be free of toxic metals, it uses a unique liposomal delivery technology to improve absorption. And it's absolutely delicious. I love taking this. I put it in my coffee in the mornings. And so right now you can try Everbella's Caramel Collagen for 30% off. Just head over to everbella.com and use code Wendy30 to get your discount.
Yes, because as we start dealing with parasites, we need to make sure that the lymphatic system is moving. That's where my wife Jan can help with lymphatic massage. We get to work together in that fashion, right? It's just been good. It's just been awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's very rewarding working with people using advanced technologies like Spooky2 Rife and like NES Health software to really see these transformations that you're not going to see using conventional, really even functional medicine, because you have to get that underlying root cause. I think it's just so much easier working in the body's energy field because that's really what's giving direction to the physical body is the energy field.
Yes. And with the NES Health, we can tell things, and I use both. We can tell pH balance. We can tell vitamins and mineral imbalances. We can see metabolism. We can see the amount of energy in the major organs. We can see if they're talking to the rest of the body. And as we normalize that, things are just better off overall.
Yeah, I love how NES Health really helps to just optimize the body's overall functioning. It just gets the body working better, working optimally. And that's what I use it for. And then the Spooky comes in and just knocks out all the infections, no matter what kind it is. It does emotional trauma stuff too. It does spiritual stuff. It does all kinds of crazy things. But the name of the game is those parasites and those cooties that for a lot of it. And for a lot of these things, there's no tests. I mean, there's all kinds of infections, brain prions, and just all kinds of stuff. There's no medical test for these things, or they're difficult to test, or the doctor doesn't think to test it, or they're super expensive or not covered by insurance, or blah, 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 blah. And you don't have to think about any of that stuff. You're going to pick up the frequency of whatever cooties you have doing this simple scan.
Yes. And just like yesterday, we can pick up cooties that have no symptoms. So they don't even know that there's something going on. It's pretty amazing. And then we turn right back around and we apply those frequencies and take care of it. Mm-hmm. And then the next week I do a scan and doesn't show up unless it's a pretty heavy, pretty bad situation.
Or sometimes you have a lot of symptoms, like when you eat bad tacos in Mexico, which was my case, and you have a lot of really bad symptoms, and you can address those really, really quickly. Like for me, I just did 2 sessions and I was good. I didn't have any more symptoms, and I suffered for like 2 weeks. And then I was like, what? Because sometimes you just think GI stuff is just going to go away, after like a day or two. But the GI symptoms were not going away. And then I finally got up my Spooky and did it a couple times and poof, gone. And it's really amazing how quickly it works.
Yeah. And it's totally non-invasive. Most of the time, unless I have something kind of serious, we can use the plasma with the Spooky and kind of slam the parasite. But most of the time they come in and they lay between the scalar unit on a massage table, and it's totally non-invasive. They lay there, and most of the time they just take them in while they're in that scalar field, and that we can send frequencies through and take care of issues.
Yeah. And when you say scalar, can you explain that a little bit? Because that's a component of the Spooky, a little bit separate. The Rife is kind of like a flashing plasma tube. It was invented like 100 years ago. And so it's been around a long time, tried and true. It's kind of a flashing light bulb, a little disco ball you're sitting in front of. And then the scalar, explain what that is exactly.
What we have is a transmitter and a receiver, and we tune it to each other, and it creates this, just the scalar field itself, just laying in it is very beneficial. Just me being there, my handwriting is getting better.
Oh.
It's still bad, but it's getting better. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a motor function, whatever, or maybe I'm able to concentrate better, but it's just unintended consequences of being around it. People who are really sensitive to frequency, I just had a client who is so sensitive, she can actually hear electricity running through the walls to the outlets in her bedroom. She turns the breakers off so she can go to sleep. That's sensitive. But she was able to do the scalar. And so we're working with her. Scalar is kind of, I've looked up what scalar is, and I haven't found just a whole lot of information. The only thing I can tell you is that it's a more gentle way of introducing the frequencies, and people love it. And it's working.
Yeah. When I think of scalar, I think of just information that's traveling on the scalar energy waves. There's different types of energy waves. When you think of your internet working, your Wi-Fi, that's information packets traveling on energy waves. Your cell phone, information traveling on energy waves. Your body works the same way. Your brain, your heart, all work the same way, emitting energy fields with information on them. And the scalar is just sending new information on scalar waves. That's just all it is, different, which is essentially information in the form of different frequencies, different hertz frequencies that it's sending to your body. And what about your own experience? Like, you've told me a lot of things about changes that you felt in doing this work on yourself and kind of as a bystander working with clients. What kind of changes have you seen and felt in yourself?
Well, I know my hair is blacker than it's ever been.
I'm going to be 52 in about a month. I've never had any gray hairs. So I've been doing Spooky, I guess, since 2019, 2020. And I've been doing NES Health for 8-9 years. And I didn't really think about it. I thought, oh, it's just my genetics, but it may be very well be the Spooky and working with that for so many years.
Oh, I believe it, because it was so funny. That guy came in and he goes, "You notice anything different?" And I was writing something. I looked up and I said, "Are you losing weight?" He goes, "No, don't worry about my weight." He said, "No, look." He pulled his cap up. He said, "Look." And sure enough, brown.
You're going to get people coming to you just for that alone, just for that symptom relief alone.
Oh, come on. That's fun.
But I recently watched one of the Spooky webinars, and it was about diabetes. And the guy had type 1 diabetes since a child, very, very severe. And within a few months of using Spooky, he reported his A1C went from like 7.3 down to 6.0 in a few months. And over a little bit longer course of time, lost 35 pounds, just as, his blood sugar was being controlled and regulated correctly. And he did a whole webinar on it. The Spooky has a Facebook group that's almost 80,000 people now. And there's over 100,000 Spooky users around the world, and just unbelievable stories, like the stories you're saying right now, telling us. And it's just really warms my heart, because I really want people to have a sense of security, to not live in fear, and to have that control in their own hands, to take control of their health and their longevity and live a high quality of life. That's my only hope, in watching my own father pass away from his cancer treatments and watching him suffer for years and not really getting any relief. And it's just so, so sad. And there are so many people listening that have had family members die in that way and lived a very low quality of life their last few years. And I just really want people to know about these technologies and know that there's so many things that they can do. They're not being suggested to them or told to them when they're going into their conventional or even functional doctor. I don't want people to be limited by their tool set or their knowledge set. There's always something that you can do, no matter what is going on with you. There is always hope. There's always a way to address it. You're just talking to the wrong person.
And quite a few clients. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's absolutely a need for functional medicine.
Yes.
For doctors.
Yeah.
And I always have to refer back to their doctor if I see something that looks suspicious. But a lot of the clients that I've had, when they've been to the doctor and the doctor tries this medication and this medication and then this medication and it's not helping, and they go, and the doctor goes, "I don't know what else to do for you." And so that's when people start looking for alternatives. And obviously, I'm going to recommend that they look into energy work.
I want to give thanks to one of our sponsors. It's Gluteryl Transdermal Glutathione Spray. So glutathione is essential for detoxification and to promote energy, cleansing, and overall well-being. So enter Gluteryl. It's the groundbreaking topical glutathione spray that's about to become your new wellness essential. So Gluteryl delivers glutathione on demand through a multi-patented sub-nano technology, challenging the IV and the liposomal delivery systems currently on the market. So glutathione is key to balancing oxidative stress and free radicals and promoting longevity. So add Gluteryl to your longevity routine this year by visiting aurowellness.com. That's AURO wellness.com and use code Wendy5 to get 5% off your first order. Yeah. Now, energy medicine is a medicine of the future. It is, and it works, period. And I'm all for it. I'm all for conventional doctors. I go to see doctors for my hormones, and if there's an emergency, yes, absolutely, I want to go to a hospital. If I have an emergency or a car wreck or, emergency medicine is unbelievable. But I think the problem is the chronic care and maybe how certain health issues are addressed. There are just better ways to go about things. But I think everyone has their process. They have to go through their own healing journey and make their own choices in their healthcare. But for me, I want to open people's eyes to all of the different options that are out there, and things that are not being talked about or suggested to them. Yeah. And so I wanted to go back to your own healing journey and talk about what surprised you doing this type of work and how you feel today versus before you started a few years ago.
I guess my journey started when my wife, Donna, was diagnosed with lung cancer. Her first diagnosis was stage 4, and I knew nothing about this energy work that could have benefited. But you were there. You were helping. And she was just a little too advanced. And so she was with us for about another 3 months, I think, after that diagnosis. And so after that, you had suggested that I might look into this. So I did. So I did certification. Really, I think the biggest thing that benefits me is that it gives me a purpose, right, to help people. I think that has been the biggest thing that I've come to realize. It is certainly by doing the therapy for myself, it has certainly pulled me out of depression from having that experience. And it's just been a wonderful thing that you and I have been able to share.
Yes. Yes. And, I saw that healer in you, and I just thought it would be perfect for you to start learning about NES Health and then getting a Spooky and start learning how to use that and whatnot. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see, because I wanted to tell a little bit about our story that my mom had you, or our mom had you, and had to give you up for adoption. She was young and just wasn't the right timing for her. And in our whole lives, we looked for you. We wanted to know you and whatnot. And there was really like a big hole in her heart not having you in her life. Something, just a deep wound. She was really wanting you in her life. Mm-hmm. And I did a 23andMe, like right when it first came out, the whole genetics thing, like it was in early 2000s or something like that. I did a 23andMe test. And then your adoptive sister, she got one for you.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but I put in, don't put me in the family gene. I don't know why I put, don't allow people to contact me. And I don't really know why. I thought, I need to be private with this. So I didn't, I don't know why, but when you did your test, you saw that you had a half sister, and you found me on there. Yeah.
Yes. It was a birthday gift from my wife, Donna, and my stepdaughter. And so I did the test, and it took about a month to get back and all that. And so about December, this has been almost 7 years now, or maybe more than 7 years. So I got the notification and went to the website. I was a little apprehensive about going to like the DNA relatives. I went through all the medical stuff first, but then I went over to DNA relatives, and just bigger life right there on top of the list. It said I had a half sister, but your name was unknown. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I made it private. I don't know why. I was trying to protect my DNA from the Chinese or something. I don't know. I was trying to hide from.
and so of course at that point then, I didn't know whether our mother was still with us or not. But I thought about it for a while, and I thought, when it all boils down, the only thing you're going to have left is God and family. So I started looking into the process. I went back through the adoption agency and stepped through all the hoops and requirements that they had. And so I'm on a tractor one day I get a text, and it's from our mother, was her married name. Thought it was spam or scammer or something, And it's like, I want to talk to you later, And so it took me a while, and I figured out, oh. And so I texted her back. I said, I'm working, but I'll call you back here in a little bit. And so, on the way home, I called her, and we had a 3-hour conversation, and it has been awesome ever since. And I know I'm blessed. A lot of adopted children, when they try to make that connection, it's not good.
Yeah. I have a friend that tried to make a connection with her real father and just fell on deaf ears. Really heartbreaking.
Right. But this has been awesome. And I've got to know her. I've got to know you. And I'm so thankful.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, I just, when we put our paperwork into the Texas Adoption Agency, and we were just, I don't know why I thought we were going to get a response like really quickly. I thought that, he must be looking for us too, and we would just get connected. And then it took a long time, but I'm very thankful it happened when I was in my 40s. I was about 45 or so, 44 at the time. And just and I posted about it in my newsletter and, to the people that were tuned in at that time. I had always been an only child, so I was really thrilled that I was able to finally meet you. My mom told me about it when I was about 17, when she felt like I was kind of emotionally ready to handle that information. And so it just, I'd always grown up alone. So I was really happy to learn that I had a brother, and you've been amazing. Have so much heart, and so spiritual and intelligent, and just such an authentic, genuine person. So it's just been wonderful getting to know you. And I love that we kind of connect and bond over energy medicine also.
Yes.
And call each other and talk about this or that, or troubleshooting something, or just bounce ideas off each other. And it's great. And I love that you're helping people and that you're available to help people on their healing journey.
I am available. Yes. Our practice is growing. I think I'm going to have to start expanding.
Yes.
And, more equipment. And then Jan, my wife, she's actually learning how to use the Spooky also. And so we've got plans in that direction to just be able to help more people.
Great. And you do detox foot baths also. You're doing all kinds of stuff. So if someone wants to work with you, how can they get in contact with you? What's your email or phone number?
Probably the best way to contact me is through email. And it's Todd, Todd, Measles, Measles, just like the red measles or the German measles, at MyersDetox.com.
Yeah. So anyone that, Todd's message resonates with you and you want to fly out to Lubbock or near him, or you can work remotely with people as well, just shoot him an email, todd.measles@MyersDetox.com. And Todd, thanks so much for coming on. Is there anything else you wanted to tell the audience?
Yes, it works. It works. And you had the biggest part in this, helping me get going, mentoring me. It's just been awesome. Come see me. I'd love to help you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Todd, thanks for coming on the show. And everyone, I'm Dr. Wendy Myers. Thanks for tuning into the Myers Detox podcast every week. And I'm so happy you guys got to meet my brother. This is my big brother. And just thrilled that he is out there in the world helping other people to get better and step more into their life purpose and heal them and help them on their healing journey. And so anyone needing some little TLC from my big brother, you know where to contact him. And you can go get tons of free resources, hundreds, over 500 podcasts. I think we're at 400 articles now, all free on MyersDetox.com. I would love to provide free resources for people to help point them in the right direction of getting those last few puzzle pieces they need to meet their health goals and live their best life. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
The Myers Detox podcast is created and hosted by Wendy Myers. This podcast is for information purposes only. Statements and views expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Wendy Myers and the producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. Individuals on this podcast may have direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.